You know that feeling when you wake up, the sun is out, but everything inside you just feels dark, like your body hasn't even started moving yet, but your mind is already exhausted from carrying all of yesterday's baggage. You look around, and it feels like everyone else has their life figured out. They're moving ahead, while you're stuck in the exact same place, no matter how hard you try. And after failing enough times, you start believing this quiet, dangerous thought. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But life doesn't always test the strongest people. Honestly, it usually goes after the ones who are already tired, just to show them that real strength isn't about power, it's about endurance. I'm Ion, and you're listening to Time Teaches. Today I want to share a story about a small, overlooked creature that taught an entire desert what it actually means to never give up. Deep in the desert, there was a young camel named Orion. He wasn't like the others, he was smaller, his legs were thin, and he walked with a noticeable limp from an old injury. He was always the one lagging behind, and the desert is cruel to anyone who is slow. While the big, strong camels carried the heavy loads and got all the praise from the traders, people just looked at Orion and laughed. They said he was defective. They said he wouldn't survive a single storm. Orion heard every single word. He didn't cry. There's no use for tears in the sand. Instead, he got up earlier than everyone else. He watched how the older camels breathed, how they placed their hooves during a storm. He tried to copy them, and he failed. Every single day, his legs would shake, and he would collapse under the heat. One evening, after taking a really bad fall right in front of the whole caravan, Orion dragged himself away. He sat alone in the shadow of a rock, watching the sunset. That's when Kronos walked over. Kronos was the oldest camel there, his body covered in deep scars from a lifetime of travel. He sat down next to Orion and asked quietly, "What are you hiding from? The heat or their eyes?" Orion kept his head down. "I'm not afraid of the heat," he whispered. "I'm just tired of failing." Kronos looked out at the endless dunes and said, "Do you know why the desert respects us? It's not because we're fast. It's because when every other animal runs away from the storm, we keep walking. The sand blinds you, the sun burns you, and everything in your body tells you to stop. But a real camel survives on one simple rule." Orion looked up. "What rule?" Kronos looked right at him. "Just focus on the next step. Don't look at how far the horizon is. Just take the step right in front of you." Those words changed something inside Orion. Over the next few months, while the rest of the herd slept, Orion was out there practicing on the hot sand. When they mocked him, he stayed quiet. He stopped trying to be as strong as them. He just wanted to be better than he was yesterday. Then came the real test. A group of traders needed to cross a notoriously dangerous route. They were short on animals, so they had no choice but to take Orion along, even though they thought he was dead weight. 3 days in, the sky turned pitch black. A massive sandstorm hit them out of nowhere. The wind was so violent it felt like knives hitting their skin. You couldn't see an inch in front of you. The big, strong camels, the ones who had never struggled a day in their lives, panicked. They started collapsing under the pressure. The traders were shouting, completely lost. But in the middle of all that panic, Orion kept moving. His eyes were burning, his lungs were choking on sand, and that old voice in his head was screaming at him to quit. But he was used to pain. He had been training in pain for months. To him, the suffering wasn't a surprise. It was just a familiar road. He wasn't moving because he was strong. He was moving because he simply refused to stop. Suddenly, Orion spotted something through the dust, a massive rock formation that could offer shelter. He let out a loud, piercing call. Hearing him, the other camels and the traders dragged themselves through the wind, following his voice. By the time they reached the cave, everyone was completely broken from exhaustion, but they were alive. That night, the traders looked at Orion in absolute silence. No one was laughing anymore. On the way back, things got worse. The caravan's water supply started leaking. Panic spread instantly. To move faster and save the animals, the traders started throwing away bags of expensive goods just to lighten the load. While everyone was stressing out, Orion did something no one expected. He walked over to the heaviest remaining bags, the ones holding food and survival gear, and knelt down. He was asking for more weight. A trader yelled, "Is he crazy? He's already exhausted." But the leader looked into Orion's eyes and nodded. They loaded him up. Orion didn't do it to show off. He did it because he realized something important. Once you learn how to survive your own pain, you find the strength to help carry someone else's. That's the moment you stop being a victim and become a leader. When they finally made it back to the village, the crowd went wild with joy, and right in the center of it all stood Orion, the camel they all thought wouldn't make it. Kronos walked up to him and smiled. "Do you get it now?" Orion nodded. "The desert doesn't care how you start." "Exactly," Kronos said. "It only remembers the ones who refuse to quit." The truth is, Orion's story isn't some fairy tale about a loser who magically gets superpowers. It's about reality. It's about accepting that you're flawed, that you're tired, but choosing to take one more step anyway. Life can feel like a pretty brutal desert sometimes. You don't need to have it all together right now. You don't need to outrun everyone else. If you're exhausted, then slow down, rest, but please don't quit. Because you never know, the exact struggle you're dealing with today might just be the blueprint someone else needs to survive tomorrow. If this story meant something to you, drop a comment and let me know what part hit home. Hit the like button if it gave you a bit of strength, and subscribe to Time Teaches so we can keep figuring out this chaotic life together. If you've got a few more minutes, go watch my previous video, Let It Happen. It talks about why forcing things in life usually just causes more pain. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, time heals and time teaches. I'll catch you in the next one.